Hi, I'm Bob Batcher, the Executive Director of Prime Plus Senior Centers, and it's Prime Time with Bob. And I've got really special friends today. And again, I got to confess, someday I'm going to learn how to put the graphic up there, but I don't know how to do it. So, guys, trust me, I'm in a car. I really look kind of cool, but I don't know how to do it. Gino.
Yes.
Katie from the Alzheimer's Association. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well.
Doing well, thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird time, isn't it?
It
Oh,
is.
very weird, but we're staying healthy, safe, and positive.
Okay, now on my screen, Gino, you're on the bottom, so you're holding us up.
I got the weight on my shoulder.
You're at the bottom of the reverse pyramid.
Right. So who are you, Gino?
Well, I am the executive director of the Alzheimer's Association Southeastern Virginia chapter, but also I was a former caregiver for my father who had Alzheimer's, and I was a former volunteer for the association. So I've been connected with the association as a staff person for about 25 years and totally for about almost 30.
And you've got to be the most passionate, intentional executive director of a nonprofit that I've ever met. I mean, you are always on.
Well, I believe in what we're doing. I've seen the effects of this very cruel disease firsthand and how it's affected me. I've been on that journey of feeling alone and overwhelmed. And I think now with what's going on with COVID-19, that just exasperates things for caregivers, because for those who are dealing with the disease and are affected with the disease, the guideline for distancing and not being close to people it is almost impossible for someone who is caring for someone with the disease, because they need that help to do their daily activities of life. And now that sole responsibility is on that caregiver at home 24/7. So in spite of COVID-19, we are still committed to providing care, support, and continuing the fight to end this cruel disease.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I can't picture what dealing with this whole new norm when you weren't coping with the old norm real well. Now, the person next to me over here, Katie, normally when Katie's in the room with me, she's getting me in trouble.
Not Katie.
Yeah. Bob, we know you like to talk. Say this. But Katie, when you're not getting me in trouble, what are you doing with the Alzheimer's Association?
So I serve as the Director of Programs and Services for the Southeastern Virginia chapter. So I oversee all the community outreach work that we do, including community building work, our family services such as support groups and education programs, and our early stage engagement programs. And then also our outreach to the long-term care and healthcare communities, and help building up an understanding of the disease, and to help encourage earlier and more accurate diagnoses, and also making sure that we respect the standard of care in those who are living with Alzheimer's. So.
Now, for us, the world changed on March 16th when Prime Plus was closed, and we had to kind of think of a new way of doing things. And around the same time for you guys,
yeah,
you didn't just close up shop and go home, did you? I mean, you've been busy.
Yeah. So we, in the middle of March, came home, and within, I would say, about 10 days, we had transitioned not only locally but nationwide in delivering our core services. Education, early stage engagement, and support, caregiver support groups in a virtual setting. And so we've continued to provide those. And what's really been very encouraging to see is the amount of creativity and the amount of willingness to think outside the box when it comes to how do we stay connected. I think that's true of us in general, I think, as a community, but definitely I've seen that within the work that we've been doing with our volunteers who are delivering these programs, and with the constituents who are engaging, just a real willingness to continue to make sure that we're providing that care and support throughout this entire time.
Well, I know at the Emmy Cox location in Virginia Beach, for us, we had that we had the group that got together, and when they were all in one room, it was like, wow, you have the same, oh, yeah, they don't talk to me either.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're having a tremendous experience there, but not at home. And so they were just starting to get used to working together as a community. So are you finding that the virtual thing is working?
Yes. I mean, we have the option for people to join like this through a web-based program, or they can join by phone. So you don't need to be comfortable with extremely high-tech stuff. But yes, we're seeing that people are able to connect. And in fact, a lot of our caregivers who are calling to the support groups are in the moment with the folks that they're providing care for, right? And we see that play out on the phone sometimes, right? We're literally walking through that experience. And I've witnessed other caregivers coaching their fellow caregivers through a very difficult moment in real time. And that's pretty phenomenal, and not something that you would typically see in one of our in-person sessions, right? So that's been, I think, as hard as it is on our caregivers, and as much as we want to get back to normal and make sure that they have those added supports, I'm really happy that we've been able to maintain that type of help for them.
I think the key is the big question, and Gino, you're probably in the same boat. Everybody comes to me and says, so when are we going to be back open again? When are we going to do?
Right.
And when you focus on the when we will, you're not going to get things done. That really it's focusing on today and now. What can we do to build a community? So as going, and your smile, by the way, where is it? Come on, there we go. Because you've taken that passion of being a caregiver to your dad and turned into being one of the best CEOs I know of a nonprofit. No, you really are. I mean, you'll send Katie up the mountain so you can get things done. What's it been like to be a CEO in these times?
Well, you really have to be flexible. But you know something, I just want to just touch base on something that Katie said too in terms of our virtual programs. If there's any silver lining through this, these virtual programs also, when we do go back, that day comes and we do go back, we have these virtual opportunities in our toolkit, because it does open up greater access to people, not only locally here, but in rural communities and in other parts of our region and the state. So I think there are some silver linings in terms of access. As being in charge of a nonprofit like you, I mean, it's hard because we're really community oriented. And then, like you, I'm very people oriented. I like to give hugs and things. So this is tough for me.
I'm married to an introvert. You can't wait till I go home or go back to work.
Right. So the thing, being in this type of environment is really being intentional about continuing communicating with our constituents, our supporters, our volunteers, making sure, checking in with them to make sure they're okay, that how we can be of service to them or someone they know, and also in terms of all those corporate supporters that help us through our walk, especially to check in with them because their staff are dealing with this as well. So how can we help them during this very difficult time? That is our primary focus. And really right now we are really focused on making sure that our staff, our volunteers, and our constituents are safe in terms of everything we do. And we're not rushing to get back to that office. We want to make sure that it's done in the proper way and manner.
Well, let me put it out there. Trillions and trillions of dollars are coming down from Washington.
Yeah.
So how are you spending it?
Well, unfortunately, it hasn't come our way, but I hope it's reaching those that can really help. The part for charities, the Relief Act for charities, were for nonprofits that had employees of 500 or less. The association is a national nonprofit, so we didn't qualify for that, although we actively advocated for the passage of that. And we are going to advocate in the next iteration, if one comes about, to consider that Relief Act for charities that are 500 or more employees. But I got to say this, with as I said, the first couple of months, we were really just checking in with people, communicating, letting them know what we do. And now we're starting to, gear up with our walk. That's our biggest signature event. And we also have the longest stay, but a lot of the longest stay stuff, which is still going on and people are excited about it, can be done virtually, and that's what we're encouraging. The walk really is community oriented, and we have volunteers who are heading committees. Well, we started now seeing an uptick in walk team registrations, and I have been calling all those who have registered to be a walk team captain. And they are excited about the prospects of walk. They still believe in the cause. So although our fundraising events may look different, the spirit of those fundraising events, the spirit of the longest day, the spirit of the walk is still there. It's about bringing community together, whether virtually or in person, and making sure that no one navigates the maze of this disease alone, and that we really continue to advance research to put an end to this disease once and for all. So I think, that's inspiring to me, that people are still willing to give, and every little bit helps, as you well know.
Wow. Katie, he always knows how to wrap it up, doesn't he? I was really hoping you were going to say you were going from doing walks to doing it on the couch. The more time you spend on the couch. So in other words, come to Prime Plus, our virtual classes.
Right.
We're starting. Get in shape, and you can climb to the top of the mountain with Katie.
There you go.
And I think too, Bob, this is great collaboration. This is community right here.
Right.
We are apart, but we're still coming together. So what you're doing supports our constituents. What we're doing supports your constituents. It's all intermeshed, and if I could just say one last thing, if people are out there and need help, we have our 24-hour, 7-day-a-week helpline, 1-800-272-3900, and we have our wonderful website, alz.org/SEVA. You can find out about all those virtual programs. You can find out about caregiver and professional tips in light of COVID-19, and you can also look into our walk and longest stay.
Awesome. I am so glad that I can call you guys friends.
Yes.
Oh, well, you're a dear friend.
We are as well.
Gino, as you said, it's really the community coming together. So my plea to people that are watching this, if you want to do something, it's important that we know we're safe at home, but look out for that neighbor. Make sure that they don't get lost in isolation, because as we all know, the cost of isolation is huge. And
Yes.
that people who are dealing with Alzheimer's, dementia, and just plain old getting old, we're vulnerable. We can be, and it's a silent vulnerability. So keep in mind that it's important to stay safe, but stay connected. Thanks a lot, guys.
And self-care.
Yes.
There you go. And I'm going to give Gino the last word. Thanks a lot, Gino.
It was our joy to be here. Thanks for all you do, Bob. You are a treasure to this community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.